Howdy and welcome to another episode of Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains. And today we are going to be talking with the foremost expert on the area, Clay Wurst, and he's going to tell us a story about the Mexican massacre and how it was found just over the ridge here in the Superstition Mountains. Let's take it away with Clay.
There was a story given to me by Craig Roberts, who's really an eminent historian in his own right, that along about, might have been around 1863, there was a cavalry troop. Oh, it wasn't even, you couldn't even call it a redoubt. It was nothing but a camp down here about just across from where Superstition Mountain Museum is now. And they had sent 2 scouts out that were overdue. They were concerned about them. So they sent a party, including a Lieutenant, Ben Edwards, to climb up on the upper slope of Superstition Mountain to see if they could locate those 2 scouts, if they could glass them. They climbed up there and found 24 skeletons. The lieutenant initially pronounced them as being Indian skeletons. Apparently either Pimas or Papagos got into it with the Apaches, and he pronounced them as being Indian skeletons.
Okay, then how did they come to the conclusion that it wasn't an Indian?
But Ben Edwards moved off a bit to the north and found another skeleton, a little ways separate from those 24. And this skeleton, the others were stripped of their clothing, which the Apaches did. This skeleton was not stripped. And he'd evidently crawled back in under a bush and hidden, and they never found him. But Ben Edwards looked at his skull, and it had a gold tooth. Not Indians. They had to be Mexicans. Now, what were 25 Mexicans doing back in the Superstition Mountains as late as the 1860s? This was the United States of America at that time. Apparently, it was a clandestine group that came back that had evidently worked mines in the Superstitions before. And some of them came back to try and reopen or rework those mines. Well, Edwards was near retirement. He did wait out his hitch in the service, retired, and came back. And he tried to follow back into the superstitions, a logical route that these people would have come out, and began finding more individual skeletons. And he found a series of skeletons going clear back into LaBarge Canyon, right down the bend in LaBarge below Marsh Valley, where LaBarge turns and goes into the lower box. There was a trail going up there that had seen substantial use. And Edwards went up there, up onto Peters Mesa, never found another skeleton. But he was convinced that those people had come down, probably off Peters Mesa, down into LaBarge, had had a running gunfight, and had lost an occasional Mexican until they got out here on the slope of the mountain, and then 24 are killed. So later, I don't know who it was, came back and packed out those skeletons. They're not there now. Now, Craig Roberts took me right to the spot where that happened. It would be interesting to go back there someday with a metal detector and sweep that area and just see if you could pick up an artifact of some kind.
Hey, over here. No, over here. All right, thank you, Clay, for setting us straight on that massacre. As a matter of fact, we have another special guest right here, one of the survivors from that massacre. At least he was at one time. Been on a diet. Right here, another mystery of the Superstition Mountains.